Hi everyone, I'm going to give you a crash course on the 5 steps to improve your email marketing program. Let's get into it. So, step 1, you are going to want to do an audit, and you're also going to want to map your customer journey. Now, this step is very important because you don't want to be making emails that have no purpose. And the whole entire purpose of your emails is to serve your customers better. So if you already have an email marketing program, you're going to want to go through the entire thing from your onboarding emails to your churn emails to your retention emails and see what things are actually guiding your customers through the process and what ones are kind of pointless and don't serve any real purpose or just aren't converting the way that you want them to. And on top of this, if you don't have an email marketing program already, then this is the perfect start to map your customer journey. What are your customers doing in each step of the customer life cycle, and what emotions are they experiencing? What pains are they needing to be fixed? And your emails will actually be the solution to these problems. So yes, that is the first step. So to recap, in step 1, you're going to want to make sure that you map the customer experience. You're also going to identify what is critical to keep in your email program and what is not critical or is just not working. And then lastly, you're going to want to ensure that your entire email program tells a cohesive story. So from start to end, everything should make sense for the customer and they shouldn't be confused by all of your different email efforts. And I would say this one is one of the most important things. So moving on to step 2, which is segmentation and personalization. Okay, so on this step, you're going to first want to make user personas. Now, this is going to ensure that you know exactly who you are talking to in each of your emails. If you have an email list of 5,000 people, chances are that you are not going to convert as much as you want to. Rather, if you have an email list of 200 people that all have similar attributes or goals. And so the next one is kind of related to what I just said, which is to use these segments and connect them to business goals. And this is super important because if your emails aren't serving your overall goal of your organization, then really what's the point? So you want to know exactly what is your goal at each step of your email sequence. Is it to get people activated? Is it to get people not to churn? Is it to get them to try a new product? Whatever it is, you need to know the goal and then you need to make sure that your segment matches that goal. And then lastly, you want your tone and the offer to match your persona. Now, here's a really great example. If someone is unhappy with your product, if they are unsatisfied with what you have brought to them, or they're just frustrated using the product, you are not going to talk to them like they are happy. Now, if they are sad, what you are going to do is you are going to meet them where they're at with concern, and you're going to empathize with their emotions. So you're not going to act happy when someone's frustrated or upset with your product. Instead, you want to match the tone and meet them where they're at, but turn that into satisfaction with your product. Okay, so the next section that we're going to be talking about is automating and structuring your campaign. So something that's really important is you are not going to be able to send all of these emails on your own. It's just not going to be possible, especially if you want to scale your email marketing program. And so what you want to start learning is automation and scheduling. this is super important for scale. So if you want your email marketing program to look like this, you need to start automating your processes. And so you basically will want to take these things that you've already done over here and turn them into automation sequencing. And so basically for this, you are going to build automation flows at each stage. So if it's acquisition, if it's activation, if it's revenue, if you're trying to sell more, you are going to want to build an automation at each stage. And because of this, you are also going to need to know your qualifications. So that ties back into these personas, because these personas not only have personality traits that you want to talk to with your tone, but they also have attributes like physical qualities that they are displaying. Are they not using enough credits? Are they not engaging with your platform on a regular basis? Or are they power users? You need to know exactly how to identify those people by automated sequencing. And so you will have to essentially set up connections into like your CRM or whatever platform you use to see exactly how your customers are moving through your funnel. But you want to know exactly how this is taking place and transpiring, because then you can build automations based off of that, and everything will be running seamlessly, and you don't have to do so much manual labor consistently through your email marketing program. You can do it at the beginning and then let it run for you. And another critical thing with this step is running A/B tests. So A/B tests, if you don't know what they are, it's basically a way to test two different ways to go about something to see which one is more effective. And so in your email marketing, if you're looking to scale this, you're not going to be able to scale without running tests, because tests tell you exactly what works and exactly what doesn't. So for example, if I'm trying to see if this subject line here versus this subject line here with an emoji, I have A and I have test B. I'm trying to see, is this subject line with the emoji going to perform better, or is this subject line without an emoji going to perform better? And whatever works, I'm going to double down in. If this subject line ends up getting 540 opens out of 1,000 users, and this one only gets 200 opens out of another 1,000 users, we know that test A is significantly better compared to test B, so we are going to double down on test A. Now, moving on to optimizing copy and design. So over here we have copy and design. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is the structure of your emails. So it's always going to follow the same structure. You're going to have your subject line, you're going to have your preview text, and then you're going to have your body and your CTA. Now, it's really important that your subject line is generating interest. I know that if I saw an email and it was super boring and I had no interest in it, I'm not going to click it, and so that email just went to waste. So a great way that you can start optimizing your emails is through your subject lines. The other thing that also generates interest is your preview text. So if you ever go on your email and you see that light gray text that's next to the subject line, that kind of gives you a summary of what is happening in the email to come. If that's not interesting, people are not going to care. And so you want to make sure that these two things work together to generate interest to go to the body and eventually to the CTA. The purpose of your email is to get people to act. And this is only communicated through the body and the CTA. But if you don't get people into the email, then those two things can't work together to get people to your actual goal. And so you have to think of it as you need to minimize as much friction as possible in these steps to get people to this step, because that is ultimately what is most important. Another thing that is super important in this step is having one CTA and having it be very clear and very powerful. So if I had an email and I sent it to you and there was 5 different buttons and all of them made no sense together, are you ever going to click them? Probably not, because you're most likely very confused at what is happening in this email, and I would be too. That's why it is super important to only have one call to action. And this also connects to the fact that you want to have each email serve one purpose. And that is exactly why, let me write this really quick. That is exactly why we did this first step. So this is all connecting, and also this step. Because now we have these segments that we can separate and have exactly one interest. However, if we didn't have these segments, then you would most likely have like 3 different purposes in an email, and that's where a lot of people go wrong. And so let's recap. Copy and design. The most important thing is get people to your call to action, have one call to action, and have one clear message or purpose throughout your emails. Okay, now number 5 is kind of hidden, so I'm gonna write it over here so it's very clear. But the main thing after all of these steps is to make sure that you are staying patient in analyzing your results. So this basically means that you are not just setting emails and forgetting them. You are actually optimizing them, reviewing these A/B tests that we did, reviewing how many people are clicking your CTA, reviewing how many people are opening and engaging with your emails. Are people responding back? Are people doing what you want them to do? And if they are, then that's amazing. You want to double down on those efforts, just like we said in this example here. But if they are not, then that is when you start testing and experimenting, because things aren't going to work if they never worked in the first place. You can't just keep having things run that aren't actually giving you results. You want things to work and have predictability. So a great way to do that is running your A/B tests and reviewing what is actually happening through the body and the CTAs. So on that note, number 5 to recap is just stay patient. Email marketing is a hard thing to get started. It is confusing because a lot of people nowadays think that emails are not important and they're boring and they're overwhelming, and I'm sure you have an inbox full of 5,000 emails that you probably just want to disappear because it's blocking your whole entire storage on your iPhone. And so I know that emails get a bad rep, but especially in the SaaS space, they can be incredible drivers for growth if you do them the right way. And so the ultimate goal is to move your customer from this first step here and to the very end, where they become power users. They feel confident using your product, and they also feel connected to your community. Now, this does not mean overwhelming them. This does not mean spamming their inbox. This means empowering them through your emails and guiding them on a journey to become those power users who are going to stay in your platform and who are not going to churn. So yeah, these are the 5 steps that can make your email marketing program better. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below.